Do we have a mega showdown fight in the making? Because it seems that Teofimo Lopez and Terence Bud Crawford keep going back and forth on social media for a couple of days now. And this time, Terence Crawford comes out and states that he is willing to fight Teofimo Lopez under one condition. He is saying that if Teofimo Lopez beats Madrimov, then Terence Crawford will fight Teofimo Lopez next. And that is not the end of it, champs. Just today, Terence Crawford comes out and states that he's gonna pull up on Teofimo Lopez, saying that he was gonna be in Las Vegas, and this is where supposedly Teofimo Lopez is at. And Terence Crawford asks what Teofimo Lopez is doing or where he is at. And Teofimo Lopez answers and says that he's at the grocery store buying some bananas. But it seems that Terence Crawford just wants to fight in the street, and they should probably just do it and televise it. They could probably have 1 million views. A long time ago when I used to box, there was 2 boxers that did have a street fight, and that was Bobby Boy Berlardis against one of my homies, David Mendebel. Now my homeboy was an amateur fighter, and Bobby Boy Berlardis was a pro fighter, and they both got down because they were both from the same hood, Westside Verdugo. This is San Bernardino's biggest gang, and they were both from the same gang, but they both got in a fight, and that was a hell of a fight. It seemed like it was a real pro fight, but in the streets. Like, I'm telling you, that fight was good. I wish I had a camera and I could show you guys, but they got down. Everybody that was there was talking about that fight for weeks because they got down for at least 15 or 20 minutes. The only reason they stopped the fight was because the cop came, and it was one of the neighbors that called the cops on the fight. But Terence Crawford and Teofimo Lopez are sure building up this fight. I want to see this fight. Even though Teofimo Lopez is moving up 2 weight classes to challenge Terence Crawford, I still think that's a closer fight than Terence Crawford going up 3 weight classes to challenge Canelo Alvarez. I believe Canelo Alvarez beats the ish out of Terence Crawford, but I still think Teofimo Lopez and Terence Crawford is going to be a very close, entertaining fight. And this is the reason that I am a big old Teofimo Lopez fan, no matter what he says, because I don't care what he says outside the ring, just inside the ring. Exactly like about Tank Davis. I don't care what he does outside the ring, inside the ring, that's where he's a G. Well, the difference between Terence Crawford and Teofimo Lopez calling out Canelo Alvarez is that Terence Crawford wants a payday, and Teofimo Lopez believes he can beat Terence Crawford, and it's not going to be for a payday. He just wants to beat Terence Crawford, and he believes he can beat Terence Crawford because they even stated they're not going to get a big old money bag for fighting Terence Crawford. Teofimo Lopez will fit in back in the day in the golden age of boxing. This guy is a real throwback fighter. He will fight anybody, no matter what the style, because styles do make fights, and some boxers are afraid to fight certain styles because it'll make them look bad. But Teofimo Lopez will fight any style, even though if he's gonna struggle, but he still always gets the nod. But Tank Davis seems that he's always fighting the same type of guy. Well, the last time he did fight Frank Martin, but he's still flat-footed because there's a lot of Mexicans that are flat-footed, but Frank Martin is a little flat-footed. Also, did everybody hear what Terence Crawford said? I don't know if he said that about the whole boxing world or just Teofimo Lopez, but he said if you guys think that Teofimo Lopez has a better resume than Terence Crawford, then their mom could eat dog-ish or something like that. I hope we just said that to Teo. Also, I did get a lot of backlash on my last video because I did state that Teofimo Lopez and Terence Crawford were not that famous. But not the Teofimo fans did not get offended. It was the Crawford fans that got offended. And they told me that, why do you think that Crawford is not that famous? And they were talking ish about me. And I should have said this, but because, okay, listen. Terence Crawford he's a big name to the boxing world, right? But once you step out of the boxing world, no one knows him. But they know Mayweather, they know Canelo, they know even Cotto, but hey, check it out. Terence Crawford, they think that he's Kendrick Lamar. How is he that famous? And people confuse this fool for Kendrick Lamar. But I believe Teofimo Lopez is saying all this stuff because he wants to make the fight happen. And I'm just tripping out that Terence Crawford is not saying anything about him talking racial slurs about Terence Crawford, or even Gervonta Tank Davis. They don't want to fight Teofimo Lopez and like shut him up. I want to see the fight. Shoot, man, I do not want to have any of these boxers missing, because say Devin Haney missing, like he's missing from boxing, right? That will suck, because that you're taking like 5 or 10 fights from us, because that would be one less fighter, the one less of the 4 kings. Then it won't be no Teofimo Lopez versus Devin Haney. It won't be no Devin Haney versus Gervonta Tank Davis, or another rematch with Ryan Garcia. It will suck. Just taking out one fighter from boxing is gonna ruin. It's gonna hurt boxing in the long run, because there's not a lot of top level fighters from any division. But I ain't racist. I don't care what he says or anybody else says. It's just worse to me. I really don't give a F. But hey, guess what, guys? I ain't the biggest. I'm the freaking baddest.